So good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. Thank you for the ambassador for hosting this extremely interesting event, and we need it in Italy. We need to spread the voice that digital economy is going to be very, very big, and it will create a lot of jobs, and we'll see. I'm just waiting for the presentation to start. Thank you. I'm from Mopap, an Italian company that expanding all over the world. We're helping apps to keep track of the revenues in company that developing apps. So we're not talking about here about us, but we're talking about this very big market. Talking about job creation in U.S. alone, the apps economy created more than 500,000 jobs. If you compare to Italy, the entire internet era generated only 700,000 jobs. So it's a very big new shift in way we create content and distribute to the people out there. So the mobile apps and the mobile economy is going to be very, very relevant in the next years. So how do you develop a product in this big new era? It's when we started developing mobile applications and software in general. First of all, I would ask you a question. How many of you in the audience have ever developed a product? Raise your hand. Quite a few. I don't really see in the back because of the light, but how many of you develop a software product? Basically almost the same, even more? Great. So when we started developing software products, you started, in the waterfall. Back in the days, big ERPs, it takes years to develop, a lot of, energy and effort. You need to define in advance all the feature sets. It takes a lot of effort and energy and money and people to build up. Now we went through the agile development. Small groups focusing on niche feature sets and trying to iterate new features at every release, getting feedback. So there started this loop of getting information back from your clients. Because most of the time, you get in love with your product and you are starting building features and features and features that you really love, and then you go out in the market and you see there's no need for that. So customer will give you always the best feedback that you may have. And actually in our, before presentation from Heidi, is really looking at your market first. It will help you to focus on your product. But even then, even if you think you've done your own research and you start developing your product without getting the feedback from the customer, then you could get into trouble. Now we're going to the lean movement, where basically you continuously ship new features, very small and tiny ones, and then you get immediate feedback. So you can see right ahead if you're going the right direction, if the market is supporting you, or if the market is rejecting you, and you can keep it changing. I went to visiting Etsy in New York a couple of weeks ago, and I was astonished by the number of releases they do daily. Can you guess how many? How many times they do, ship a product onto the market? What? 27. That's the mean. So you guess it right. So 27 new releases a day, which means, every single tiny changes, bug fixes, new feature set, every continuous integration of new features every single minute. So that's you can get the best feedback from your clients. And it takes a lot, to build a team that an infrastructure that can actually work together and seamlessly distributing new features out in the market. So if you haven't read the book from Eric Rice, the Lean Startup, you should do it. If you are into startup mood, read it. Read it maybe twice. You can avoid a lot of mistakes that that we have done developing our product, and people usually done developing the product, spending too much time developing features and taking too much time to get to the customer and in front of the customer and asking feedbacks. The basic idea of the lean development, and you should really try to test it on your own in the market, starting from the idea. And then you start developing what is called the minimum viable product. So the smallest feature set that you think people will buy for you. And test it on the market and see if you can find customers that will buy your product. And then from there, you start iterating, adding new ideas, getting the feedback, increase the value proposition, and start increasing the value of your product one tiny step at a time. What we learn, that you need to fail fast. It means that it takes too much time to fail or to find out that your product is not really well placed, you're screwed. I mean, you spend too much resources. You spend too much time and money and people effort to go in the direction that nobody wants you. I give you a straight example because usually in Italy you're not really used to disclose your failures because you're kind of afraid of the word failures, because for Italian standards means that you have gone bankrupt sometimes. While actually failing, it means that you've done a misstep in one direction and you're ready to recover and go into the other direction. So we took too much time to go to the customer, and we were thinking of addressing the entire ecosystem, starting from small developers to big corporations. And when we launched the product, we found out that actually most of our clients were coming from the big corporation. And if we had known that in advance, like months in advance of that, we could have focused more on developing the feature set that big corporations are willing to pay for, and small developers will never pay for that. So fail fast, go to the market quickly, get a lot of feedback that you need to improve your product, and iterate back on that. One of the top reasons why startups fail in this ecosystem is just because they ignore the customer, and they build the product where there's no market need. So coming back to ID presentation, do your own research and market, find if there's a fit for your product, and then at the end start taking care of your customer. Talk with them, not only email, not only chat, maybe visit them, ask for a personal interview, get a lot of feedback out of them. You cannot talk about product development if you don't talk about customer development. So there are two people you should read about, I would say, from Silicon Valley, is Steve Blank books and Eric Rice's book, because they share a lot of inside information about what happened in their previous startups, and they interview a lot of startups. They give you a lot of insight about what was good and what was actually not so good, and what failed and what was succeeding. So developing the product, it means also you should develop your customer. You should iterate through your customer as long as you iterate into your product, because basically it's the same thing. You build your product for your customer, and your customer is there for your product. And when you iterate through this, even if you think you want to address your entire market, you need to spend a hell of a lot. I think I'm repeating a bit of what Adi said, because custom segmentation is a key for your product. No matter if you're targeting locally or globally, your customer segmentation could be a global segment across multiple nations, and you think to focalize on the customer segment that gives you the best fit for your product, or the other way around. But is a circle of iteration that will help you to get the best out of it. So what we learn through this process is that if you find the right features for the right customer, is love. And everybody will love your product. Everybody will actually you'll be willing to pay for it, because you're finding the right fit for the customer need. And that's going to help you a lot in the sales process. So thank you very much for your attention, and I don't want to take too much time, and open for questions. Thank you.
Grazie Alessandro. Inizio io facendo una domanda piuttosto, diciamo, avendo i piedi da una parte e dall'altra dell'oceano, una domanda in generale. Qual è la differenza nell'avere interazioni con le grandi aziende tra Europa e Stati Uniti?
Okay. The first impression is that in US, everything happens so fast. So even big corporations are willing to test out new products and rely on service from a startup. I remember when I was in September in TechCrunch Alley, and the director of digital media from Autodesk came to me and say, hey, we are one of your customers and would like to talk with you. It would never happen here in Italy, probably. So the problem is that the big Italian corporation takes more time to interact with new and unknown startups that are providing some weird service that may fail in a couple of years or even less. So they pretty stick to rely on, big corporations that provide, the usual software services, and they're fine with that. Or they build internally their own product, which most of the time it ends up in a very bloated software spaghetti code, and is not. I mean, I know it for sure because I was kind of doing consultancy for them, and I know what happens. So the main difference is that the U.S. corporations are more willing to trust startups, and they're more willing to find someone that can help with their big problem, and then they can focus on their own core business. While in Italy, we say that they are more concerned about keep the control of everything, so it takes more time. But eventually they do also interact with startups. Yeah.
Questo ovviamente allunga il time to die, so it takes more time richiede più tempo per decidere se si fallisce o meno, e quindi questo crea problemi alle startup, perché condivido pienamente questa cosa.
Yeah, I would say just start to focus on the global market and you're better off.
Altre domande? Prego.
Volevo chiederti se secondo te le metodologie Lean si possono applicare anche al fundraising e se tu in particolare le applicate.
Yes, I think they could be applied to fundraising. No, I didn't apply it myself. That's another lesson learned. I think so. I mean, you need to raise as little capital as you need, I think, to bring you to the next step. And if you do it lean and very quickly with smaller products, smaller stuff, I think you could really succeed in rising bigger round with a bigger valuation, because you're bringing to the table more value. I would say that the problem with that is that it takes more time, because the effort of rising 100K is more or less sometimes the same as rising 1 million or 2 million. Well, it depends on the environment, but I would say here it takes more or less the same. But I do agree that I think that applying the lean startups in way of thinking, also in investing, you could succeed. Thank you.
Altre domande? Prego,
I'd like to ask why, as an Italian, you are speaking English instead of speaking Italian to your. I'd like to ask why, as an Italian, you're speaking English to an Italian audience, and
it's a global. It's a global market.
Okay.
So it's it's. If you don't understand me, and so maybe
certainly your English is wonderful.
No. I mean, if you don't understand English, I think you need to.
Learn English.
Learn English and then build the step. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Altre domande?
I know that there are a lot of startups around there. Everything is clear for you? You're doing a great job. Yeah.
I have a question regarding failing fast over here.
Sorry.
Okay.
As an investor, can you help me understand when you should call it a day and when you need to say, let's not fix something? Because the CTO will keep on saying, this is a great thing, we just have to fix this. And you can just keep on going and keep on investing.
I think you should look at metrics and numbers. Well, two things. First of all, if you invest in a company, you're basically investing in people, right? So you should trust people. And you should have like a feeling if they're telling you the truth or not. And at the end of the day, if you build the right metrics, you will know by the numbers if they're building something that is really useful because maybe they're growing. Maybe you don't have your hockey stick, but still you see that you're bringing value to the market. And if you're comfortable with those CTOs saying, hey, we need just to fix these things because we learned from the past clients that they told us they will buy the service if we change that, I think this circle, is still valuable. But if you say, hey, no, I know that's this product is really worth something, the client, they don't understand us shit, about those things. That's worrying. That's when you say, sorry. So I think metrics is all, numbers is one thing you can rely on.
Perfetto. Grazie mille Alessandro.
Thank you very much.